Hello and welcome to this Come to Jesus daily devotional. I trust you are well. Today we continue in our series in Luke, exploring who Jesus is. This week we're looking at Jesus' temptation in the wilderness, what we can learn about that, how we can apply this to our lives. And today's devotional is entitled, Jesus is Tempted by False Worship. Let's read from Luke 4, verses 5 to 8. The devil led him up to a high place and showed him in an instant all the kingdoms of the world. And he said to him, I will give you all their authority and splendor. It has been given to me, and I can give it to anyone I want to. If you worship me, it will be yours. Jesus answered, it is written, worship the Lord your God and serve him only. In summary, we must resist the temptation to give false worship for a fake victory. We must resist the temptation to give false worship for a fake victory. What's this temptation about? In essence, it's about offering false worship for a fake victory. Jesus is tempted with glory, but without the cross. Obedience to the Father's will lead to a great victory and the restoration of all things, but would require that Jesus go to the cross and offer himself as our substitutionary atonement on the cross. However, Satan is tempting Jesus with victory and worship, but without suffering and without obedience to the Father. Mike McKinley, in his book Luke for You, says, in essence, what the devil is offering to Jesus is a crown without a cross. This temptation is rather like what we read about in C.S. Lewis's book, The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe, where Edmund and his brothers and sisters are offered it's prophesied and promised that they will rule in Narnia. And the prophecy that C.S. Lewis writes about, it goes like this: when Adam's flesh and Adam's bones sits at Cair Paravel enthroned, the evil time will be over and done. You can see that reflection there on biblical themes. But Edmund is seduced to rule from the White Witch, a fake rule and a shortcut, and it ends badly for him. Satan was offering the same as he offered to Adam and Eve, the lie that worshipping him would lead to true life. However, as with the fall, this supposed victory would require rebellion against God, and this always leads to death. Satan is tempting Jesus because he knows that if he can get Jesus, like Adam and Eve, to obey him, he has won. After the fall, God promises an ongoing battle and war between Satan and mankind. We read in Genesis 3:15, and I will put enmity between you and the woman, and between your offspring and hers. He will crush your head, and you will strike his heel. This is ultimately about all of us, but also about Christ. He's going to strike Satan's head, crush his head. Here in the wilderness, Satan is striking at Jesus as he offers him a victory by avoiding the cross. However, Jesus knows that he can only provide forgiveness for sins and the restoration of all things and crush Satan's head for good if he's prepared to obey the Father and go through the cross to glory. So in response, we must resist the temptation to give false worship for a fake victory. Like Jesus, we will be tempted to give worth to things over our worship and the worth we give to God. Satan tempts us to bow down to our work, to our family, the government, to popularity, comfort, sport, our boss. We could go on. Let's learn from Jesus' response as he used the word of God as a weapon. He quoted from Deuteronomy 6:13. I'm also going to quote from Exodus 20 as well. In Deuteronomy we read, "Be careful, you do not forget the Lord who brought you out of Egypt and out of the land of slavery. Fear the Lord your God, serve him only, and take your oaths in his name. Do not follow other gods. The Lord your God, who is among you, is a jealous God, and his anger will burn against you, and he will destroy you from the face of the land." We read in Exodus 20, "You shall have no other gods before me." We are to worship the Lord only. If, like Christ, we will use the word as a weapon to keep God central in our worship and in our hearts, we, like Christ, overcome satanic schemes and crush Satan's head. God bless you.